Welcome back. We took a break and you all know what to do. Like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend how much fun we have on the Fraser Homes channel. What else do you have for us, Sammi?
Yeah, so I also have a couple kind of in the theme of the transition between the floors and the walls. I have a couple of different samples of some baseboard. So I know, and a crown molding, but I know we talked about, how the different profiles of trim can kind of contribute to the overall style of your home. So I wanted to show just a couple of different styles. So we've got one that's more, traditional, has a little bit more detail. It's still pretty clean in the face profile of it. But then I have another piece of, baseboard that we typically see in more modern homes. It's just the square profile, really simple. And then crown molding. This is the transition between your wall and your ceiling. So that's just another, a way to add some detail into your home. Typically, we see crown molding in more traditional homes. It's more of a traditional kind of element. But with the different thicknesses of, kind of what you're putting in your house, that is kind of, a deciding factor for certain other elements. And then with interior trim comes a lot of different types of material that you can use. Typically, we see primed poplar if you're going to paint it, or clear poplar if you want to stain your interior trim. So those are, kind of other things that we need to consider up front when it comes to the selections of, kind of finishes. What do you want your space to look like? So
Yeah, so that's an excellent point, and I'm glad that Sammi brought that up. Is about the species of the trim. So we could have prime poplar, we can have pine, we can have cedar, and understanding the differences and how they impact the aesthetic of your home. And quite frankly, sometimes we'll make a recommendation and say, okay, we want this poplar in this area because it is a more elevated, if you will, species versus the pine. And the pine can go in an area where you don't have as much traffic, etc. You might be thinking about the cleaning aspect, and so how well does this particular species, how can you clean that, and is there going to be buildup and all of those things. You're thinking about that, we're thinking about that with you. And so this is the reason why the selections is not just uh, a buffet, if you will. This is very much an a la carte, very thought out, very customized approach to the design build. So, Sammi, why might a person want to forfeit um, the case, the base case or the crown? Why might they decide? So let's just use, for example, window casing. Why
mhm.
might they say no? I don't want that.
Well, typically window casing is more of a traditional, style. So if you're wanting to build a more modern house, we'll typically see them do a drywall return window. So that's basically, where the drywall installers take the drywall, they wrap it around the corner and, have it meet with the window for a more kind of cleaner look, if you will. So that's, one reason why someone would opt out of having casing around their windows. Typically, we'll see, oftentimes, almost always doors will have the casing. Baseboard will be on the walls just because it gives it that more finished look, and it's a little cleaner. So,
Well, so this is another example of we're selecting windows, and we are selecting windows early on in the process because the windows, if they need to have headers, if we need to have proper supports for those windows, we need to know that straight away, and it impacts the foundation. These are so many details that people really don't understand. And this is another reason why we want to educate people on the timeliness of the process. The process is a very long process because there are so many details. The type of window that you choose has to be properly engineered. We don't want windows falling out. We don't want massive winds blowing out windows and hurting families and people in the neighborhood. So the bottom line is that these details matter and your input is important. And the sooner that we can get that input and the more decisive that you are about your choice, this means that you can get in your house and start making memories faster.